How far away is this recommendation from some of the impressions you've got about reforming the police? Barracks signed a committee report. He says that to reverse the trend, they recommended the salary of the rank and file should be reviewed in addition to the provision of relevant equipment and attitudinal reorientation of the personnel. They talked about disparity of remuneration between policemen and officers and men of sister organizations carved out of the police.
That is very true. That is very, very true. Our policemen are poorly paid. There's no doubt about that. But then it all boils down to where you started recruiting them from. The mentality here is that if you didn't go to school, there's a certain level of salary that you earn for whatever job you're employed to do. But if you go to school, it ups your salary. So what is the caliber of people that you recruit in the first instance to be recruits of the police? It tells you the story. Therefore, if we up the level of entry of men into the police force system, and you are able to pay commensurate salary that goes with the risk of their job, you cannot ignore that. In this country, we learn to throw away values and value system. The problem is it goes back to haunt us in the society. Therefore, we must learn from henceforth to associate values with professions.
Something just occurred to me while you were speaking. I mean, talking about breaking the barracks, breaking the walls of the barracks and having the police leaving community. What about safety? And what about reprisals?
Safety for who?
Safety for the police officers.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me? The policeman who is supposed to assure me within my society is not safe?
We understand. I mean, we understand the society that we live in.
Yes.
You know that, I mean, even with the way the police currently is, there are
Yes.
still a few good men
Yes.
within the Nigeria police.
That's right.
And those people sometimes, when they do the right thing, their lives could be at risk.
That's true.
So how do we assure or guarantee police officers of their own safety doing the right thing within the society that they live in?
You see, there are risks that are usually associated with every profession. Every profession will have its own risk. They call it the hazard of your profession. Therefore, you must recognize ab initio what the hazard of your profession is. When I was living in Baltimore, Maryland, in the United States, my next door neighbor in the apartment complex that we were living in, I didn't know is a police officer. Until the day my children came visiting from England and we went to the mall. And the police officer was looking at my kids walking through the mall and stopped one of them and said, "Are you enjoying your stay in the United States?" And my son was startled. Here is a white man who he's never met before, who is asking him, is he enjoying his stay in the United States? The reality of that is somebody knows something about me that I don't know is watching me. And how did that happen? The man who was talking to them is the police officer who is living in the apartment complex next door to us. He saw these new kids coming to the complex. He has a mental picture of them. He meets them in the mall. And he was looking for a way to identify with them. And then I walked up to them and I said, "Oh, how are you doing, sir?" And he says, "Oh, doctor, I was startled myself because I've never met him before." And then he goes on to introduce himself. That he lives in the apartment next door to us in Pleasant Hills, and that he's a police officer and he knows my family. Something I didn't know anybody was watching. That's the job of a police officer.
You said something. You said ab initio.
Yes.
They should know the hazards of their job.
That's correct.
What you're asking right now is that we break the barracks after they have joined. This is possibly something that they have considered, but maybe thought that, you know, the barracks will provide me some amount of safety. So if you're saying break the walls of the barracks now, what provisions are we going to be making for the safety of those people? Unless you're saying that if the person is a good neighbor, the neighbors also would watch out for the policeman.
Well, let me say this very clearly. The policeman, ab initio, is a member of the society. Whatever danger he's exposed to is because it is the prevalent danger within his society. Mugging, robbery, and so on and so forth. Let me ask you a question. If I, as a miscreant, knows that the man who is next door is a police officer, am I going to commit crime within that community? Psychologically, will I? No. I would rather move away, because by the time I do that, I've exposed myself to the man who is a man of the law.
Those are things that should happen naturally, but oftentimes are not the things that happen. Oftentimes it's taken for granted that, well, I know him, I know where he lives. If he tries anything, I will go and I will deal with him afterwards.
A police officer can call. Excuse me, a police officer can mobilize his colleagues. That's the police officer's ability. He should be able to call. He should be able to call his colleagues to be able to say, look, I need assistance here. And they're trained to do that. And they have communication system to be able to allow them to do that.